The secret. Pull up a chair. Let's break it down. With the advent of AI and artificial intelligence, we have access to a lot of information that, we've always had a lot of access to a lot of information, but it's even more so today. And it's very interesting because everybody has a different take, different belief, different level of awareness and understanding. So there's always that discussion, like who's right, whose belief system, whose economic system, whose childcare system, whose education system, like what's the best way to go through and experience this thing that we call life. And the reason why I'm having this discussion with you today, because I'm seeing a lot of mental health issues. I know I struggle with my own mental health issues as a young man as well. And with the next generation coming up, it's extremely important for the older generation, like myself, to assist the younger generation with processing information and exposing them to the truth, the historical data, and even that's a discussion. But based upon the oldest known records of humanity. Just do some research. Just Google. What is the oldest, historically agreed upon document that has ever been written? If you go into your favorite, AI or, your favorite search engine, you come up with some interesting documents that talk about, humanity, human history. Obviously, when you're younger, these type of topics are not of interest. You're interested in, getting digits, getting a nice ride, getting a job, making some money. So delving into the meaning of life. When we look at the way that the world operates today, nobody really questions the nature of reality. Why do we do what we do? Why do we believe what we believe? You look at different countries. I have the opportunity to travel to a lot of different countries during my military service, and what they do in one country is totally different than what they do in another country. And what they eat, the customs, the culture, and the tradition in one country is totally different than it is in our country. But my question that I want, especially for the young generation and for the young people, and I wish I had somebody when I was coming up that I could sit down and talk to. I do one-on-ones, I do private counseling, I do therapy sessions. You can go to my website at masterteacher33.com, especially if you're a young person and you're struggling with mental health, you're struggling with finding your place in the world. You're struggling with relationships, just connecting with people. Like some of the basic stuff that I took for granted as a kid, and I see the young people struggling with because, everything is artificial. Poverty, scarcity, everything's man-made. The powers that be, the stuff that's like in, the Epstein files. This generation is facing some issues and obstacles that my generation and previous generations, we didn't have to deal with these issues, these obstacles. So if you're a young person today, I want you to challenge respectfully authority. I want you to challenge adults like me. I want you to challenge the current narrative. I don't want you to just believe because your mother and your father believed, your grandparents believed. Don't drink the purple Kool-Aid. Don't just gobble up whatever I'm saying or anybody else is saying. I know. When you're young, you're not interested in how the world works. You're not interested in how reality works. You're not interested in all of the topics, all the metaphysical stuff, all the esoteric stuff. You're not interested in going to like sacredtext.com, or you're not interested in getting my 1000. You're not interested in ordering my Dear Canary report, my personality report that's based upon numerology, that's based upon gematria, that's based upon theomathematics, that's based upon biblical alphanumerics. Some of these topics and terms that I just mentioned, you probably never heard of, but it gives you a sense of control. One of the things that I see missing in the world today, especially with young people, is they don't have a sense of meaning. They don't have a sense of belonging. They can't connect. They don't have a sense of purpose. And where purpose is not known, as I've been saying for 30 plus years, abuse is inevitable. The most powerful, the most important thing is purpose. It's meaning. It's reason. And when I say purpose, when I say meaning, when I say reason, I'm talking about the ability to establish mental strength and resilience and the emotional capacity to hold and to stand in the face of adversity. That's purpose. See, purpose is control. Controlling yourself, not controlling others. Purpose is the ability to hold your emotional state. Purpose is the ability not to go off. Purpose is the ability to not to go in and do something to hurt and harm yourself or hurt and harm someone else, even when you're justified. Purpose is the ability to exercise restraint because there's a reason. There's a deeper meaning. See, there are no losses. They're just lessons. So this message is primarily for the next generation. But there are some of you old timers that can benefit from understanding aletheia. What is aletheia? I'm glad you asked. One of my favorite resources is Blue Letter Bible. And I'm using the Bible only because I grew up with the Bible. If I was, a Muslim, then I'd be using the Quran. Pretty much they all say the same thing. In the Bible, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11, it says, and for this cause, for what cause? God shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. That's the problem in the world today. Most people are suffering from a strong delusion. And I'm not pointing fingers. The purpose of this short video is not to be accusatory. It's just the ability to just examine yourself. Just, study to show yourself approved, like the scripture talks about. So 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11, it says, for this cause God shall send them a strong delusion. When we look into these terms and we break this down, which is one of the reasons why I really love using this resource, it really gives you not only the, again, this is Greek, but it also delves into some deeper meanings. And so it says, God will send you a strong delusion. Now, if you go up to the scripture before that, and it tells you why. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because, here we go, because they received, if I can hold my camera straight, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So you get a strong delusion if you don't have the love of truth, according to the scripture. So most issues, most mental health, most problems in the world exist because we have not received the love of truth. We got love of money, love of cars. I went through all that stuff too. And it wasn't until I fell in love with the love of truth, not the truth, the love of truth. There's a big difference. Let's read it again. Because they received not the love of the truth. So what is the love of the truth? So we all know that the English word love means agape. So we don't have to break that down. Basically it means affection, goodwill, being benevolent. But it is the love of the truth. So it is this word truth that we want to break down. And this word truth.
Strong's G 225, aletheia.
So this is what I encourage you to really, really delve into. That one word, aletheia. Strong's G 225. When we click on it, it pulls up the definition of that word. It also has a root word. You see, I'm an etymologist. So as you can see, that word means objectively. What is true in any matter under consideration. Truly, in truth, according to the truth. Of truth, in reality, in fact, certainties. And it goes down and it tells you again. But notice the first word, objectively. Now the root word. Here's the root.
Strong's G 227, aletheis.
Aletheis means loving the truth, speaking the truth. Notice it doesn't say what the truth is. It just says that you need to love it. Next underlining word is alpha. We'll skip that one. It just means first. Then we have the third. The third Greek word.
Strong's G 2990, lantano.
We're still talking about one word. That means unaware, to be hidden. To be hidden from one. Secretly, unaware, unknowing, or without knowing. I said all that to say this. You got to have a love of the unknown. All the stuff that's over in the British Museum, CIA.gov, there's a reason why certain information is hidden from you. Once you find the love of searching the unknown, Booyah! Can't be bamboozled.